Hello! Welcome back to my channel, Healing with Kearra. Today we're going to do a pick a card to get a read for the energy surrounding or coming in for August. Just keeping it open, seeing what happens. So we're going to use the Alleyman's Tarot, and I'm just going to shuffle it and cut it into 3 random piles, and then we will those will be the piles that we use. So uh sorry that doesn't give you like, I didn't have the deck pre grouped, so uh doesn't really give you something to look at to choose, but I kind of like doing it this way. It's like really in the moment. It feels really intuitive. So yeah, just like I always say, whatever the very first uh card that you see like on the thumbnail, however you find the video, yeah, whatever catches your eye first thing, always just go with that and just try not to overthink it. So, and the timestamps will always be in the description. Okay. Okay. So, do it this way for you. Also, can y'all believe that there's only 4 months left? Like, the fact that it's August is not normal. But we have pile 1, pile 2, and pile 3. So yeah, these will be the cards in the photo, in the thumbnail. So like I always say, just whatever catches your eye right away, always go with that. I'm not even sure how good you can see that. It may not even help. I may look dumb even trying to do that, but it's the best I can do. So yeah, pile 1, pile 2, and pile 3. Okay. So we'll start with pile one. We're just looking into like the general energy around you or coming towards you. We're just kind of seeing what's going on in the month of August. Okay, so with pile one here, we have Temperance in reverse, the Three of Swords, the Devil in reverse, and then the bottom of the deck we have the Two of Swords in reverse. Ooh, and then the Nine of Clocks underneath that. So, okay. So there's this energy of healing from so like with this devil here, it's about self-sabotage or like making choices or decisions that ultimately end up hurting yourself. Um or keep yourself like restricted or keep it's like yeah, keeping yourself stuck in situations that like lower your vibration or situations that pull you down on a lower level energetically and put you in like competition with others, like with the Three of Swords. It's like um yeah, making choices that keeps you in a position of yeah, feeling like you're in a position of lack, and so you feel as though yeah, staying in situations where it's like your worth and your value isn't seen, and so you feel the need to compete with others or like prove your worth here in order to get to like some goal that's like unattainable here. It's like all the way on the other side. So it's like all ultimately keeps you in this position of not getting what you want or being like unfulfilled in some way. So then it's like it becomes like this self-sabotage cycle, and then it's like because you're not getting what you want, and you're like hurting, then that also puts you more in a position of feeling like you have lack or like you need, and so then you'll uh be more willing to give on what you'll do to get your needs met. So rather than having like standards and saying no to certain things, or kind of like standing your ground in certain situations that you know aren't good for you or ultimately going to end up hurting you, it's like you'll be willing to do things you weren't really willing to do before, which could also be like competing with others, right? Staying in situations where then you're like competing with another person in order to try and get towards a goal that like neither one of you are really going to get to, is like this illusion here. And it just ends up hurting you. You just end up like betraying yourself and hurting yourself in the end through trying to compete with others to get something. It's like something that's like below your worth or like below your value here, but it's like continuing to make choices that put you in a position where you're stuck, and you feel like you can't move out of this, and so you have no choice but to try to continue to work towards this goal that is like on the other side of you here. It's like not something you're going to be able to obtain, and it's like constantly competing with others in order to get this here, with the two here and then the three on the other side. And then maybe this other one party here really likes, it's like, okay, keeping yourself in a lower level vibration. So the type of partners that you're attracting are people who like to kind of pit people against each other and put people in competition for them, knowing that they're never really going to choose either one. It's all kind of like an illusion in a show. It's like, yeah, attracting certain partners who don't really see your value or see your worth. It's like you feel really buried underneath the weight of like all of this, and then there's this like dizziness and confusion. It's like not being able to like, it's like you're so mentally dazed here that you're like um not able to think clearly, think straight, like have like a thought out, those like relationships that are just like so toxic. There's so much back and forth all the time that it's like you're constantly fighting and going in these roundabout like situations and ordeals. It's like you forget what you were even mad about in the first place. It's like hard for you to keep like a cohesive like thought, like, running. And whenever you're constantly like in this like illusion, confusion, that can also contribute to not being able to make like a clear choice in order to remove yourself out of a situation that's just like hurting you and keeping you in a position of lack or in like a lower vibration. Yeah, with the Two of Swords in reverse, it's like not having your guard up, not having a sense of boundaries, and also like only seeing something, choosing to see something through this really narrow viewpoint or perspective. But it's because you feel as though you don't have any other options, or it's like you can't really do anything else. It's like you feel like you can't make a different choice. So with the Devil in reverse, I feel as though there's this energy of like coming out of this, but it's like healing here with the Three of Swords. It's in this energy of healing from this. It's like finally being able to turn this around and come out of this and to like stop making these choices, or to like somehow end some sort of cycle or make some sort of choice that then puts you out of being a victim and feeling like you have to compete with others in order to get to something here that's just actually inadvertently the real thing. It's like this thing over here is actually the thing that's causing the pain or creating the pain, but then um both of these other parties feel like victim to the situation, and they feel like they have to do whatever they can to try and like connect or get over here. And so it's like both parties feel as though they have to, compete with each other, and they don't realize that they're like being pitted against each other from this other party. So then they're the ones, because of the illusion surrounding the situation, then they're the ones, uh they're the ones making the choices, these two people here. So like you and whoever you're competing with, it's like you're the ones making these choices that are keeping you stuck in the situation, or like putting you in a position where you feel like you have to continue to make these choices. It's like this cycle. But yeah, it's like you're choosing to, but it's like because there's been all this illusion here from, yeah, it's like being pitted against, it's like feeling like you have to compete with certain others and not realizing that whatever you're competing for is purposely pitting you against each other for its own gain here. It's like something is benefiting off of like your self sabotage and your um yeah, wanting to fight, making certain choices to want to like fight or compete with others. It's like keeping you, it's like staying in a cycle and like fighting for it instead of just removing yourself from it here. It's like being manipulated into thinking that that's your decision, because you don't have strong boundaries here. You're not able to really have a guard up to things that are not healthy. But it's like now you're coming out of this here. It's like healing from this. But with the temperance in reverse, it's like no longer just being like a pushover people pleaser. No, yeah, no longer just like wanting to go with the flow or make peace, or like no longer wanting to make choices that benefit others or make other people feel comfortable. It's like being willing to rock the boat and disrupt the situation and remove yourself here for your own benefit and for your own healing, rather than being worried about how this is going to affect others or how it's going to make others feel. It's like putting yourself first here, and that could also create like pain for others. Like rocking the boat here in a sense could create like pain or discomfort for like other people around, but it's like being willing to, yeah, step outside the situation and make the choice that's best for you, rather than continuing to make choices that hurt you but then like benefit others. And like maybe that keeps the peace or like keeps everything afloat, keeps everything um flowing, right? It keeps everything in the like it's cohesive, um but it's hurting you ultimately, right? Or you feel as though you're competing with others, and it's like you're you feel as though you're competing with others towards something that's like unachievable or you're never going to obtain. But it's like neither you nor what you're competing for is going to obtain this, because um what you're competing for is actually like manipulating you and creating an illusion to make you feel as though you have to be pitted against each other. So it's like so then it's, yeah, putting you in a position where you're continuing to make choices that actually hurt you and set you back, and puts you in this like self-sabotage cycle. But then there's someone else, there's like another party gaining from that. So now that there's been an awareness with the eye, it's like now you've seen something here, you've like awakened to something, or even just seeing something and acknowledging something can be like the first step to like shifting the energy to where you're like, okay, I'm going to pull my energy back. And even though it's like this other person is like gaining a lot from this here, or benefiting a lot from this self-sabotage cycle I'm in, it's like I'm gonna pull back, like regardless, like I was saying before, like regardless if it rocks the boat for others, I'm gonna like pull back and take care of myself and kind of do what's best for myself here. Because it's like with the Two of Swords in reverse, like in the past you maybe weren't able to have strong boundaries or able to see what you needed to do in order to take care of yourself, rather than putting others first, or like putting yourself in a disadvantage in order to please others and to keep the peace in the environment around you. It's like you're okay with creating a little chaos or like pain or disrupt for like the space around you in order for the betterment of yourself and preserving yourself, protecting yourself in the long run. Dreams realize, manifest. You have the power to create and manifest what you desire. When you choose to push outside of your comfort zone and have determination, your dreams become reality. Now is the time to take action and have a clear focus on what you want. The universe works with you to create it by using your manifesting power for your highest good. That's the bottom of the deck. So you got protection needed, shield. It is vital at this time to protect your energy field as others may be projecting negative energy onto you. You may also be an environment for which you are absorbing negative vibes that are draining you. Call in Archangel Michael for protection and to clear your energy field. Having a practice of grounding and putting a protective bubble around you every day will be helpful. So I want to get you guys one card here. Okay, so this is the Hands of the Ancient Medicine cards by Jan Wright. She's a local artist where I'm from here in the Four Corners. So all of the paintings and graphics and stuff are from like local areas here. I'm from Southwest Colorado. I recently actually just moved back here too, so I'm back in this area again. So that's why my setup's a little different. So yeah, they were a lot um, of a lot of different native tribes through this whole area, the whole Four Corners area. So yeah, there's just so many little gems and a lot of wisdom from all of that and stuff. And so we had this is just a local artist from Memphis, Colorado, who put together this deck using images from all over the area. So, okay, let's see here. So the bottom of the deck, we have War of South. Fighting, killing, protection, boundaries, sustenance. These ancient tools for hunting, these ancient tools for hunting, but also for war. Fighting and killing are in every culture and every form of life, from people to animal down to insect. Killing for sustenance is inevitable, from eating meat to cultivating plants. However, in this troubled world, many people put their beliefs, color, religion, and needs above all others, and they strike out against those different from themselves. Hatred and righteousness often lead to war. There is evidence of war, fighting for resources, and even cannibalism in ancient times in the Four Corners. Archaeologists attempt to put the pieces together of what life was like, but much is conjecture since there is no written word, only stories to be passed down through evidence of massacres have been found. Though evidence of massacres have been found. Around 1100, the people were moved into more protected, defensive places to live, indicating anticipation of conflict. The tools of war today are vastly different from what was used in ancient time, but the killing, maiming, and torture may have been just as brutal. Look at what connection you have with war. Whether you have actually fought for your freedom or are close to someone who has been in the armed services or have supported or have spoken against war. Notice where in your physical body is activated when you think about or respond to war. Give that place love and healing. Tell yourself you are protected. Set up boundaries if you do not feel safe. Allow words of criticism and judgment to move through you and not to be stored in your body. Now look at the war within yourself. What are you fighting to save or to destroy or to change in your life? Look at the emotions attached to this struggle. If you allow anger, distrust, prejudice, and judgment of yourself, or in fact of others, to rule this conflict, you may be making yourself ill. Storing negative emotions in your body creates illness and disease. Is it time to take a new direction and find peace within yourself and with others? It takes a lot of work to make such a major shift, but letting go of the emotional attachment to the opposition will be healthier for all. May the concept of war and killing be put aside for the desire for peace, understanding, and acceptance of self and all people within their chosen paths. And this is from the Anasazi Heritage Center, which is in Dolores, Colorado. So as soon as I saw the War of South, and like the boundaries, protection and boundaries, this makes so much sense. Because like I was saying, it's like you're in this energy of, or you have been in this energy of feeling as though you need to compete with others in order to get at something or to gain something, but it's actually just hurting. You're actually just hurting yourself. It's like you're never actually going to attain that, and you're actually just hurting yourself. And because the person who has you competing, right, the thing that you're trying to get or to attain is actually pitting you against, it's like putting you in this competition or this war type of energy here. And so it's like you feel as though you have to, fight or compete with others, but you're actually then fighting with yourself, sabotaging yourself. It's like you're actually making choices that hurt yourself and put yourself back or in a position of lack, which then is like further making you feel as though you have to compete with something outside of yourself. Um, but yeah, it's like if there's some energy to where you've seen with the eye, it's like you've seen something here. It's like whatever you were fighting for or whatever you were working towards, you've seen how this like the illusion here, the whole illusion of the situation is like been realized, and so there's this energy of pulling out of this self-sabotage energy. So yeah, you've already kind of woken up to um, the war within yourself that has been created through you feeling as though you have to compete with others in order to gain some sort of status or like gain some sort of footing or position in another situation or another person's life. It's like you're realizing this is actually just damaging you, and so yeah, like I said, creating war within yourself. So it's like now you're choosing to remove this and step out of this, no matter how much, no matter how uncomfortable it makes others, or no matter how much it jams the situation up for others or creates like drama for others. It's like choosing to remove yourself from this and just heal, and find peace within yourself and heal like any of the wounds that were created from like the war that was started within yourself here, and the damage from like competing with others like on a emotional energetic ego level, right? Yeah, it's like now that you've seen this, you can just like remove yourself and heal and not feel as though you have to please whatever you were fighting for or whatever you were competing for that was actually like causing the pain or like pitting you in the situation. It's like you no longer feel as though you have to prioritize that person's emotions or that situation's expectations. You can now prioritize like yourself and how you feel and what you want, and yeah, like how you want to be treated or the outcomes that you want to come out of certain situations. So with the card, that's the bottom of the deck energy. So that makes so much sense because I feel like that was kind of the energy in the past, is like being at war with yourself, being at in this competition energy, like I was explaining, like that was what you were working through in the past. But it's like there's already been this awareness or this sense of kind of waking up out of this. So now we have celebration of heart, dancing and singing, honoring our ancestry, coming home. Looking at this petroglyph panel brings joyful feelings. Many of the figures, mostly female as seen by the hair bobs, appear to be dancing. A great celebration must have taken place, and many clans put their symbols on this wall. One can almost hear the drums beating, flutes playing, and people chanting. If you have drawn this card, perhaps you are being asked to create a celebration for yourself. Put on your favorite music and dance. Doing so certainly lightens the heart and helps you let go of emotional burdens you have been carrying. Though many tribes claim their ancestry from Mesa Verde, the Hopi feel a direct connection through recognizable clan symbols and mythology represented on this panel. Notice how the figures are connected with lines. One might interpret that as representing a lineage or ancestry. How are you connected to your family origins? Is it perhaps time to look into your genealogy to see what traits may have been passed down to you? Honor who you are and where you came from, and see how it lifts your spirits and warms your heart. If your family or ancestry had great hardship, look at it, honor the past suffering, and know that from this point forward, you can change to a positive, loving, and creative history in the making. The beautiful reverse spiral is often interpreted as the people having traveled on their migration to this place of home. In Hopi mythology, the people emerged from the fourth world through a sipahu and were sent by a great spirit into the four directions to find their home. They were to travel to each of the directions and return eventually to their place of origin. Perhaps this celebration represents their coming home and creating a good life for themselves. Celebrate home wherever that may be, whatever you have gathered around you, and whomever shares this home with you. May the celebration card help you to honor who you are, where you came from, and where you are right now in your life. Petroglyph, Petroglyph Point Panel, Mesa Verde National Park, which is just outside of Mancos, Colorado. So that's where this particular petroglyph panel comes from. Mesa Verde National Park is absolutely gorgeous. One of the most beautiful places that you can visit in the entire world. I really highly recommend it if you're interested in the history of the native people that lived here many, many years ago. A lot of the tribes in this area where I'm from no longer are around. Like some of them actually like disappeared. Um, so yeah, like they maybe just like reached enlightenment or something. There's a lot of different theories or history or um, but yeah, really interesting, special uh, place. So for this pile, yeah, so for August, there's definitely this energy of like with this card, how it was saying like dance and celebrate. I feel as though it's like now that you've seen this and now that you're shifting and coming out of this energy, it's kind of opening you up to, even though you're in this period of healing now, it's like you're no longer stuck in this cycle where you're being hurt or you're like allowing yourself like hurting yourself, right? And so you're gonna feel so much more free, like the more you do what's best for you and put those boundaries up for yourself and not worry about how it's going to affect others or hurting others, or the less you try to please others above what's best for you, what works for you, what feels good for you, um, then the more free and open you're going to feel, and you're going to have just like more time and more like space within your body because you're no longer in this competition energy or like so focused on this other thing. And so you're going to just, it's going to free up so much energetic space around you to where you just feel really light and you just want to like let loose and dance and have a good time. And so it's going to be just a lot more like celebration and fun times, but that's going to be like directly related to, you know, the fact that you're no longer burdened by this emotional situation that you were so engaged in. Yeah, no longer in this, you know, your energy is no longer focused towards like competing with others. It's like focused on taking care of yourself. And so that's really going to help uplift you and just, yeah, make you so much more lighter and so much more free, and just help you open up, which is going to help you just like have such a more rich, full experience. You can experience so much more joy that way and just have such a better time, just enjoy life so much more. Um, Rather than feeling like you always have to like protect yourself or be defensive here, or like you have to be the one on the offense so that you don't end up on the defense. It's like you always have to have your tools sharpened, or you always have to be like, you know, have your wit and intellect on point, like be, you know, ready to go here. It's like without that burden here weighing you down, is like opens you up to be able to have so many more, yeah, such a more like full, vibrant life, more variety of fun, like fruitful experiences that help you grow. And yeah, like bringing more color and just like positive, uplifting energy in your environment around you can really help to like shake off some of that um, more rough energy and just open up yourself here to like more joy and just like a more full, rich experience in life, just like enjoying yourself more. Yeah, um with the dreams realized card as well. So it's like, yeah, you just the the more you have boundaries for yourself, the more it's going to help you to like shake everything that you've been going through off and just open yourself up to like really enjoying your life again. So that's what I have for pile one. Thank you so much. Okay, so we have pile two. Hmm. So right away on the bottom of the deck, we have the three of books in reverse. And with this card in the reverse, it's like Um, Ooh, and then the Seven of Swords underneath it. So with this card in reverse, it's like someone teaching you something in like a condescending way, like um it's like someone feeling like they know more, like yeah, like it's like preaching to the choir in a way that's like very ignorant, almost like uh trying to teach something to someone, but it's like the people that you're teaching to actually know more about the situation. So it's like comes across as just like ignorant. Yeah, it's like the people that they're teaching the information to don't actually need to learn this. It's like the person that's teaching actually needs to learn more, or like actually needs to take that information in and apply it to their life. It's like the people that they're teaching to or lecturing to don't actually need to hear that information. Like they already know that, or they're already applying it to their life in some way. And then the person that's lecturing is actually the one that needs to take in that information and apply that to themselves. So it's like ironic that they would be trying to so even with this here, it's like this energy of some, it's like this, what I'm getting from this right now is this person who feels like they have it all together, like they have it all figured out. It's like they're not really looking or paying attention to what anyone else has to say, because they feel like they have everything they need or they have it all together here. But it's like in reality, they're actually like barely keeping it together, or like barely hanging on in some way. And so they're like continuing to kind of like force their opinion on others, or like shove their ideas down others' throat in some way, or just like um continuing to be like boastful in this energy of like, oh, I have it all figured out, I know what's best, like kind of like pushing along in this like very forceful, like bulldozery type of way. And then the people that they're like teaching to, or the people that they're trying to kind of like give this information to or relay to, are like observing them, and it's like it's like clearly being able to see that this person's overwhelmed, or they don't really have it together, they're barely keeping it together. It's like whatever advice they're giving or whatever they're saying is like clearly like either like not really applying in their life, or like barely working if it is, right? um but yet they're over here like teaching others as if they're an expert, and then the other people that they're trying to teach this to actually do have it together and have it already figured out. Like they're not all strung out and overwhelmed here, like they, you know, they have their finances together straight, or it's like whatever it is, it's like they are able to handle it. They're already living within their means, and then there's, you know, this financial expert over here trying to teach people how to live. And it's like you can clearly see that that person's about to fall apart. So that was just like an example. But it's like, yeah, the person that they're trying to like teach here, like relay this information to, already has that together in some way. They already are in check, or thinking about that, or working on that, or that's already applied to their life. They're not, you know, they have it handled in some way. They have enough to cover what they're trying to do, or they already have it worked out, or they already pre like budgeted and thought things through, whereas this other person that's lecturing everyone else hasn't pre-budgeted and thought things through, and is like, you know, there's stuff slipping through the cracks that they're not even noticing behind them, and things are really falling apart. They're really overwhelmed, they can't actually take on any more here. So it's like they'd be foolish to kind of give other people advice, or tell other people to do the same thing as them, because it's obviously not really working out. Like, but there's certain aspects to it, or layers to it, that may be kind of falling apart, that they don't even see here, or they haven't even caught on to it yet, because they have their, they don't even have their eyes on what's going on. They're in this energy of like not really wanting to see or hear what anyone has to say. It's like, oh, I've got it all together, I've got it all figured out. So like continuing to push forward and like shove this down others' throats here, this idea down others' throats. I just heard too, like, you know, sometimes those like MLM type of like internet scam businesses, where people will be like, oh, I make all this money, da, 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 you can too. And they're just trying to get like sign people on, and they try and make it seem like their life is so great. But really, they're probably actually in more debt than the people that they're trying to sign on for like a better quality of life. and then you do sign on, and then it's like you end up accumulating all of this debt, and the other people benefit from it, even though it's not really working out for them and it's like falling apart. It's like they have to continue to hook more people into it that will like go along with it. Um, so yeah, it's like, yeah, giving advice on something that really isn't even working out for you, and the people that you're giving advice to like already have that figured out or already know that in some way, but it's like you need to get them on board with whatever you're going along with. So this could be like someone around you or something that you've been dealing with here. It's like, or yeah, it's like you already like going back to that MLM like type of scenario, because I'm hearing that again. It's like, okay, sometimes it's like just your typical stay-at-home mom, right? And they're just looking to make extra money or whatever, and they're not even necessarily in debt, or like they don't even, or it could just be your typical whoever. I feel like it really is a lot of stay-at-home moms that end up falling victim to those type of situations because they're just like looking to earn extra money, right? Like, so yeah, just going with a scenario like that of just your typical person that doesn't necessarily need it to rely on their income, but they're just like looking to bring in extra money. Um, the people that are, coaching them and telling them like how much money they could make and how great their life could be and how they could do this, that, and the other. Like I said, it's like it's actually falling apart for them and not really working out for them. And yeah, like I said, they're actually in more debt, whereas like they're in debt to where it's like they need to recruit people in order to um, uplift their lifestyle in some way. Whereas, like, the people they're trying to recruit may not even be in this crazy substantial debt. They're just trying to, like, bring in extra income into their household, right? So it's like you're actually in a better financial position than this person who is trying to kind of like sell you that like you need to join into this thing in order to have this like better quality of life. So it's like this like kind of deceitful energy here with the Seven of Swords. So that could have been something around you, or like that may not be like the literal situation, but there could just be something. It could be like some sort of business venture to where like you're really successful in your business. And then there's all these people online here that are selling these like really expensive like online business marketing programs or whatever. And then um, all sorts of stuff like that. I'm hearing all kinds of stuff like that. So yeah, it's like um, it could be something that you were considering joining or something that you were involved in that you just like joined into because there was some sort of lifestyle or some sort of something was kind of like sold to you in some way to where it's like you're thinking it was going to like better your life in some way, and then the more you got in it you were like, I actually think I was better off before, or I actually think I knew what I was talking about more than these people even, right? It's like in some way you're realizing like that you were deceived in some way, or like the people teaching you don't actually know as much as they seem to, or the people like giving you information or teaching you, it's like you actually know more than them, or you're actually better off than them, or like you're actually farther along than them in some way, or yeah, it's like you actually know more than them in some way. So that's just all the bottom of the deck. But yeah, there was some sort of like deceitful energy that you were dealing with here. So we have a death card right away. So it's like this could have came out here, or you could have realized this like at the end, the scenarios I was getting to at the end where it was um like you went into it thinking this was going to better you or better your situation or further you along or help you in some way, and then once you get into it you're like, I actually think I may have been kind of hooked into this, or this may have been a little bit scammy because I may actually have it more together than these people, or I may actually know more than these people, right? It's like the more you get into it the more you're like, I'm not sure here. So there's like it's creating kind of like a death here, because it's like as you're becoming more aware of the deceitfulness around the situation, is bringing about like a natural ending to it, because then you're no longer contributing or putting your energy into it the same way. So whatever the situation is, if it's like some sort of organization or job or something that you were like involved in, you may have like pulled out of the situation, or you're starting to, or you're thinking about it, or there's like a shift. It's like the dynamics of everything is kind of transforming in some way. And then we have the Publishing Goblin and the Three of Cups. So, what I'm getting from this is like, okay, so it's like, okay, so you were working super, super hard here, like diligently working like with the two hands. It's like, okay, this ended up like, so you may have signed on for this thinking that it would be like fun, you would like get together with other people, like have a good time, make connections, and then you actually ended up like working so hard and like slaving away here, staying up. It ended up taking up way more time, you ended up having to contribute way more like energy and effort into this. um yeah, it just ended up taking up way more time in your life, encroaching way more into your life, and just like influencing way more into your life. Or it just wasn't working out in some ways, like you were putting way more time and effort and energy into this than you had thought here. And then there's also with this card, I always get this energy of like, it's like the more you dug into it, or the more you research into the situation, you realize there was something deceitful or something sketchy here. Like with the goblin, it's like you realize that you were like working for the goblin in a sense, or like the more you dug into something or researched into something or put into something, you realize that it's like it's not just you working for this business or this association or this company, or you taking this advice, or it's not just you studying this here. Whatever you're involved in, there's like more to it, like you're realizing that, yeah, there's like a whole nother factor to it, or there's like more involved than you had thought. Like you maybe thought it was just like getting together with some people and having a good time networking, collaborating, but then there's like this whole other dynamic to it you didn't know, or like there's this whole other like party that's getting part of the funds. Or it's like you're not just like paying one person, it's like there's this other person that's also involved. Or I'm getting this energy of also like hidden fees. Or like with the studying too, it's like it ended up being way more time and effort and energy, like if you were like studying something or involved in some sort of class, or something just didn't sit right with you, and so you did like more research, and then you realize more of like what you were involved in here. And so you realize there was like some sort of unknown element. Sometimes companies will like, it'll be like a company, but then there's actually like a whole other company that actually owns that company, and you realize there's like way more parties involved in some way, or there was some sort of information here. And then there's also this energy of like you had to spend all this time like working and studying in some way, and then other people were benefiting from it. Like you had to like work super hard and grind, so then other people um above you were just like able to relax and benefit off of it. Like with the MLM type of stuff, it's like there's like all these people on the bottom. It's like they hook you into it and they convince you that like you're going to make all this money, or it will like benefit you, but then you just end up working your butt off and working super hard to make like the lowest amount of money, while like all the people above you make more money off of you being a part of this, right? So it's like the more like time and effort and energy that you put into the situation and creating something, it's like other people were benefiting off of it more than you. It's like other people were able to just like be carefree and get together and have a good time, and then you were just like stuck slaving away, like working on something in some way. And then there's also this like unknown, there was this unknown like other factor or third party here that's also like benefiting from like you being involved or how hard you had to work, or like there's some element where it's like you didn't see the full dynamics of it before, but now you see that's like the more you invest in this, the more that these like other people that you didn't even know were involved benefit from it. And that just seems like unfair here. You're starting to realize how this was kind of like a deceitful like marketing tactic in order to like kind of pull you into the situation, or to like buy into what they were selling, or to listen to what these people had to say. So we have the high priestess in reverse. So it's like you went against your intuition here. One first thing I'm getting is like someone was deceitful, right? There were hidden fees, hidden aspects, hidden disclosures, hidden, there's something about it that was like you not revealed. Like it was like purposefully, like the fine print was like in the tiniest font on the back of the pages where no one would have looked at it or something, right? They went out of their way to like purposely hide something or be purposely deceitful so you wouldn't understand the full picture of something. um for one, right? Like they weren't clear and upfront about like the full dynamics or how things were going to be or how it was all going to go. But then two, your intuition may have been kind of telling you something, or may have been telling you that this was off, or that this didn't seem right, so this didn't sit right with you, like something was not right here, and you went against your intuition and like chose to buy into this anyways, or chose to like listen to this or go along with this anyways. And so yeah, I feel like with the death card too, and then that it's like that's where a part of like you could be going through a partial just kind of like death within yourself, because you're realizing that um you wouldn't have like gotten stuck in this or like involved in this situation if you would have just kind of went with your intuition. So in the long run, it's like helping you to strengthen your like intuition and your inner knowing whenever something doesn't quite seem right, or something seems kind of shady, or um, things just seem a little bit off. Uh, ooh, too many spirit. Ooh, we have keeping a promise in the reverse. So yeah, they may have just kind of like up front there was something deceitful about the situation, in the sense that they made all these like exaggerant promises, or they made everything seem like it was going to be a certain type of way, or like they would follow through in a certain type of way, or like they promised that you would like benefit from this right away, or that this would change your life, or that there was some sort of like, oh, look at how well this is doing for me, da da da, I don't want to see any problems in my life. But really it was actually kind of falling apart for them. But it's like they're in denial, they're not even willing to see how it's not working for them, and so they're definitely not willing to be honest with others about like what's really going on here. So it's like you're realizing that this situation is not able to like be what you thought it would be, or what it was presented as. Like there, it's not going to be able to follow through to fulfill what you had thought it would, or had hoped that it would whenever you originally bought into it, or joined, or you started following along with this, or like listening to this advice, or whatever the situation is here, right? It's in some way it's like failed you or deceived you, or just not followed through with something. Or yeah, there could have been certain things that were promised and it's not actually like that. Or there could have been like literal things that were promised that it's not actually going to be that way, um, or there's more like dynamics or work that you have to do to actually get there or achieve that than was really told up front, right? Or was really like it was just very deceitful in some way that they gave the information. So it's like you can be as successful as they say, or you can achieve something in the way that they say you can, but it's just like it's not as easy, and it's not whatever it is that they presented it as it was, right off the cuff, that like made you think like, okay, yeah, like it's actually like a lot more work, or there's like this energy of like it's not just as easy breezy as like it was presented here. It's like it's not actually going to work out the way that it was like originally shown or told here. There was like this deceitful energy here, so it's like in order to actually benefit what was promised, it's just like way more work than was like explained in some way. And we have watching the ish go down, enjoying the gossip in the reverse. So there could be this energy too of like there's a lot more drama involved in this. And there's just a lot more like gossip type of energy, and like people getting together and just being kind of toxic here, like with the Three of Cups. Like you thought it would be like getting together, networking with people, connecting with others, having a good time, meeting people, and then you realize like it's actually a lot more toxic, or there's more of this, it's like this energy you don't really vibe with, of like more of this lower level. It's like the more you got together and met up with these people and had a good time here, you realize like these are the type of people that just kind of like to get together and gossip about others, or like got like talk about other people's lives, like kind of watch or infringe on other people's lives. And so it's like not actually something you want to be a part of or involved in. It's like the more that you like network, or the more that you're involved in this, the more people that you meet, the more like the deeper you get into this, you realize like there's that goblin type of energy. It's like there's is like not actually the type of friends you want to have, because then like if they would talk about other people like that, or be so invested in other people's lives, or be so gossipy about others, and it's like you feel like they're just getting to know you in order to like store information about you, right? Or just like, yeah, have you kind of like logged down, pegged down, or just like have some sort of information about you, so then whenever you're not around, or like you're busy with something else, then they can like get together with others and have the same thing towards you. It's like, yeah, that sketched you out. Like you're like, okay, like if they just want to like have a good time and then like talk ish about um all of these other people that they, like that this is not working out for them, or that it's like as soon as this doesn't work out for someone, or their life starts to fall apart because of it, then these other people just kind of like disregard them, and then just like all get together and just kind of speak badly about them. And then they're like, oh my gosh, like if that there's like this realization that you had with the death here. It's this realization of like, okay, if this were to happen to me, like if this were to fall apart for me and like not work out for me, or not benefit for me, or I wasn't as successful in this, and I were to kind of like stir the pot, or like cause a tiff, or create uh interesting dynamics through being like frustrated about it, then they would just kind of like say whatever they want to say about me, to like get together and just like have a good time, and just like convince everyone that I was just kind of like working against everyone, or that it was like something about me that was making this like not work out for me, right? um so yeah, it's like you see the way they are with others, and then it gives you this, like you do a double take on like okay, but what could they do to me? And then it makes you want to kind of like pull back here and like not be as invested or not really buy into it or not listen to what they have to say or not want to like get together with these people here. The situation is influenced by an addictive behavior that is influencing you or the person involved. Pain and trauma are being projected. Try to see the truth of the situation by stepping outside of the chaos to create an opening for forgiveness, patience, and compassion. So that's the bottom of the deck. Oh, you got two cards. So we have decisions in fear. Some decisions and choices that you have made are based in fear and not heart centered knowledge. Fear is your ego wanting control. Take a step back and make a responsive choice rather than a reactive one. Then you're able to see the truth of the best choice with a calm and centered manner. So, um, yeah, it's like these people may have kind of or okay, yeah, like whoever is teaching you or influencing you or whatever you kind of like bought into or whatever you were going along with here. Um, if there is some sort of financial incentive, then it's like you kind of went against your intuition of like thinking, okay, could this be kind of like shady or weird because it's like you feel as though uh there's like a fear, like maybe there's like financial fear, like um yeah, being worried. Yeah, like maybe there is some debt or some sort of like financial need in some way, but you're at first you weren't able to see that's like the people that were like selling you on this or like hooking you into this were actually like in a worse financial position than you. So it's like you saw it as like the way out or a way to make things better. Um so you kind of like went against your ego here because maybe there is this like looming fear or there is some sort of pressure that pushed you to do something that you wouldn't normally do or involve yourself in something you wouldn't normally involve yourself in because you're trying to yeah like whatever it is, like if there is some sort of debt or there's some sort of bill or some sort of something that came up that creates some sort of financial pressure to where then you are in a there is some sort of underlying like financial fear and so then you felt like um more likely to take some sort of risk in something because there was the way that it was presented to you is like in a deceitful way. So it's like you're not able to see that the people kind of getting you into this or the people trying to help you or giving you the information in some way are actually in a worse financial position or like if you think you have certain debts or like certain reasons why you need to do this it's like those people um, imagine those debts or those financial burdens times 5 or times 10, right? If you're even further up the ladders, then it's like you really need to hook the people who need to hook others in order to keep themselves lifted up are in a way worse position than the people that they're trying to hook in and convince that they're going to help them or better their lives in some ways, right? No matter like what the situation is, that goes for a lot of different things in life. So, yeah, it's like you may have kind of like gotten involved in this or felt as though you needed to based off of like a fear based um yeah, there's like this fear of lack or fear of not being taken care of in some way. So yeah, just know that like the divine is always here to support us and we never have to kind of like do things that feel beneath us or do things that don't feel quite right to us or that kind of go against like what our intuition is telling us would be best in order to like make ends meet or provide or put food on the table or feel secure, right? It's like we don't have to kind of like go against what feels safe or what feels best for us in order to like get ahead, right? So yeah, it's like sometimes our ego, it's like even say things are not even that tight or there's not even debt or anything like that. It's just like um there's like a fear of that possibility. And so sometimes the ego takes over and is like, oh, I want to make sure that I'm financially comfortable here, that I'm all secure, rather than trusting in spirit to also come in and like if something were to happen or to be able to kind of like help you through that shift or through that adjustment or whatever's going on, right? Like no matter what it is, it's like there's your ego is the one that gets afraid and is like, "Oh, we need to like do something desperate to make sure that we can remain in control of the situation." And it's like that the sense of faith in you that chooses to like step back and let go of control and just know that the divine is working with you to help support you, and you don't ever have to, like I said, like do something that doesn't feel right or like do something that would go against like what you would normally do, or like your personal boundaries or like lines within yourself of like what you know is right and wrong, in order to like be secure or be okay or to keep going or get ahead in some way or to feel safe or secure in some way or financially or in any way, really, right? Letting go, resistance. The cycle has ended and it's time to let go to experience new growth. It is vital to have closure and gratitude for the situation to make room for new things to enter. Go within to find what is holding you back. Change is necessary in this situation. Yeah, so that's where I'm going to leave it for pile two. Thank you. If this resonated with you, you can click the link in my description to book a personal reading. And thank you. Okay, so pile three. Looking into August. So so we have this motel, stay for a good time, not a long time, on the bottom of the deck. Oh, and then the Knight of Cups underneath that. And then we have the Black Moon and the Judgment and the Death with that. And then the Page of Pentacles. So, okay, there's this energy of putting yourself out there. It's like risking something, taking a leap, taking a jump into the unknown or into the darkness. It's like putting yourself out there and going for something that you feel really emotionally passionate towards. You feel like a really strong affinity for something here. So it's like choosing to like put yourself out there and go for it. It's this energy of like, well, even if it doesn't work out, like at least I tried, at least I put myself out there, at least I tried to have a good time. Or it's like also I'm hearing maybe you were kind of cautious or like hesitant to go for something in the past, but then there's this realization that you really care about it, or you have these really strong emotions, these really strong passions towards something. So it's like realizing that, you know what, life is short, and I'm not here forever, but I may as well have a good time and really enjoy myself while I am here. And so it's like choosing to put yourself out there and step into the unknown and being like open to the experience and whatever could happen, because it's like you'd rather like open yourself up to being able to like enjoy yourself or make good memories or have a good time here. It's like traveling to different places and staying in different hotels, like um even like, yeah, traveling or going somewhere foreign or different can be, it's like unknown or uncomfortable, but it's like putting yourself out there if it's worth it, if it's something you feel really passionate about, or if you feel really strongly towards, being willing to like put yourself out there and like go for it, and realizing that, yeah, having like the memories, or like, if, yeah, what could come out of it is like better than like being cautious and like playing it safe and just like trying to live forever, but then not having like any like really passionate strong memories to back up like your experience in life, right? So yeah, it's like choosing to like take a leap of faith, step into the unknown, or do something outside of your comfort zone, like go for something that you may have been kind of like hesitant towards. Or there's also this energy of like, um if you see someone else like in danger or hurting in some way that you really care about, it's like you're just going to like put yourself out there to, yeah, put yourself in a position to try and like help them, because it's like you'd rather like have a good time with them in the short run than protect yourself and like live forever and like let them go down on their own. um yeah, it's like you want to like have a good time with someone rather than just like keeping to yourself. And you may have perceived someone as like dangerous in the past, but now you're like, well, I'd rather have a good time with them and build life experience with someone else than just keeping to myself and playing it safe and like living to old age, but then not really having any like fun experiences or fun memories or like any good times to um talk about or to go along with it. Or because, yeah, like it's like in the past you were like more cautious or less willing to just like jump into things, um but now it's like with the death and the judgment, there's been some sort of like an awakening here where you kind of realize like, you know what, life is short. It's like nobody lives forever, so we may as well, do the most we can or have the best time that we can while we're here. It's like kind of changing your attitude or your mindset, changing your tune or the way that you saw things. It's like wanting to like free yourself or liberate yourself in some way, not wanting to be like held down or overly cautious. There's like this reawakening. It feels like a second birth because it's like now you're looking at life from a different perspective and you're more willing to like take risks and kind of put yourself out there in ways that you wouldn't have before, pursue things that you wouldn't have pursued, or yeah, go after things that you feel passionate towards, step out of your comfort zone, step into the unknown, be willing to put yourself out there just for the sake of the memory rather than like I said, always wanting to like play it safe or always wanting to be overly cautious so that you don't like get hurt or something in some way. But then you don't have any like fun, cool memories or experiences to like share with anyone else or to talk about later or to like ruminate on later in your life or to like pass on to the grandkids, right? It's like you want to have something fun and like enjoy something, yeah, like an enjoy it's like the legacy that you want to pass down is something that you enjoyed experiencing in your life and not just that you always played it safe and protected yourself. Um, with the Page of Pentacles, it's like you're just starting, it's like you're just discovering this, or yeah, you've just had this new awakening, so you just now have gained this like new perspective. So it's like you're fresh or you're new on this, you're early out on this journey of discovering like just like a whole different way to like look at things or to do things or to approach situations here. um yeah, you're just kind of like going out and figuring it out and learning how to like build those more I'm hearing like intimate, heartfelt experiences. It's like learning how to uh yeah, build your life in such a way that you can like move towards the things that you feel really passionate about or that you really care about, you really want to spend your time focusing on. I'm also getting it's like the part of the reason why you've made this shift here is because it's like there was something here that really drew you to this. Like there was some element or aspect to this that was like really appealing. And so it's like you wanted to kind of like learn how to build that for yourself in your own life. So you realize like the first step is to kind of like take a leap or to take a step outside of your comfort zone or into territory that you've never really been in or kind of do something that you would have never really done before in some way. Ooh, so we have message at the bottom of the deck and we have air. So I'm going to read both of those for you. Message: a letter, text, email, vision, dream, conversation, music, or some other form of message is coming regarding your current situation. Be open to receive it. And we have air. Logic, critical thinking, facts, information, research, and reasoning are required at this time. You may also need more information before proceeding. Drawing this card asks you to call on the element of air to help you in finding healthy resolutions. Meditate with this symbol to call on more of the air element in your life, enhance logical thought, and inspire new ideas. Heart opening. Opening your heart center and listening to your intuition will always lead you in the right direction. You now have the opportunity to let down the walls you created from past wounds. Let your light shine from your heart to experience what the universe had always wanted for you. Yeah, you could have been became this more overly cautious, careful person just based off of things that you've been through in the past, but it's yeah, the universe is asking you to kind of open yourself up to a more full range of experiences in life. Letting go, resistance. This cycle is ended and it's time to let go to experience new growth. It is vital to have closure and gratitude for the situation to make room for new things to enter. Go within to find what is holding you back. Change is necessary in this situation. Sacrifice, reclaim. Your strength is needed to pull back your power and gain perspective of the situation. You've gone through an emotional sacrifice for too long. It's time to claim, balance, and nurture yourself by standing in your power. So, yeah, that's what I was picking up on before is there's something that you feel that you really care about or you feel just deep passions here for, right? Something really struck a chord within your emotions. And so, I think that's kind of triggering you to be like, okay, maybe I could have a different perspective of how I looked before, of how I looked at things before. Maybe I could kind of step out of my comfort zone and put myself out there and move towards something here. Like maybe I could look at things in a different light and be more open to um, something new coming in, right? But yeah, the this cycle of sacrificing the things that you feel would really emotionally fulfill you in order to kind of protect yourself or preserve yourself is kind of cycled out or is it's no longer working in, as well as it was or um, is coming to an end in being beneficial for your growth and your life experience here. And yeah, that's all I have for pile three. So thank you so much if you watched this far into the reading. I hope you have a really, really great night.